So in this video, we're going to talk about if you have more than one child or beneficiary of your estate and you want to treat them all the same, how do you do it? All right, so ask any parent who has more than one child and they're likely to tell you, my children are so different. It's no different with their estate planning needs. Some parents feel like certain children are capable of managing an inheritance, while other children may need some guidance. But when it comes down to it, a lot of parents really hesitate to treat the children differently from how their inheritance will be handled for them. So many parents, in spite of the children's different needs, many parents want to treat all of their children the same because they don't want it to appear that they favored one child or the other, or gave one child more favorable terms for the inheritance than the other. So let's look at the options that you have if you want to treat them all the same, and I'll go through some of the circumstances where you may want to choose this option if your children fall kind of under this rule. All right, so really you have three options if you want to treat all of your children the same. Sure, you could say, I have three children, child one, they're going to get it all as soon as I die, they're responsible. You could say child two, I don't want them to get it until they're 65. And then you could say child number three, I'll let a trustee determine when they get it. But again, most parents don't want to be different, have different rules for each child. They want to treat them all the same. So when you want to treat each child the same, you have three options. First option, let them have it. That's what I call leave it to them outright. You pass away, you have $1 million, you have 4 children, each child gets $250,000. They go their own way. They go their own way. They do what they want to with it. Some will keep it. Some will spend it. Some will invest it. Some will pay off debts. Up to them. So people who tend to just leave the inheritance to all of their children or all of their beneficiaries outright tend to have adult children who are mature and responsible, and they want the simplicity of just leave it to them. Let's keep it simple. Let them do with it what they want. So that's option number one. Leave it all to them outright. Option number two is let's leave it in trust for all of them until they reach a certain age. So this is common for parents with minor children, parents with young adult children, and those parents feel like those young adults aren't quite ready to handle an inheritance themselves. When you treat all the children the same and you leave it in trust for all of them until they reach a certain age, you'll likely name a trustee, some other person to manage it for those children or beneficiaries until they reach that certain age. What should that age be? It could be age 25, it could be age 30, it could be age 40. Typically you'd have a provision that says if the trustee determines that your children or beneficiaries have a need, perhaps for their health, education, maintenance, or support, before they reach that termination age, then the trustee would have the discretion to make a distribution to them or for them for their health, education, maintenance, and support. It's just at that age determines at what point they get the rest. And it could be an age like 25, or it could be in stages. Maybe they get a third at 25, one half what's left at 30, the rest at 35. So that's common when you treat all the children the same. They're minors. Minors can't inherit in their own name anyway. So leave it into a trust for all of them. Name someone else as the trustee and put those stages at which they'd be entitled to receive it. Now the third option is maybe a combination of the two. It's where parents may say, well, my children are adults and they're mature and they're responsible, but I don't want to just give it to them outright. They're married. I don't like their spouse. And I want to add a layer of divorce protection so that if my child inherits and then gets divorced, they don't lose everything or they don't lose half of it. So under those circumstances, we see sometimes parents treating all their children the same. Parents say, when we pass away, we are leaving things equally to our children or that list of beneficiaries, and it goes into a trust for them for the rest of their lifetime. And perhaps the child or beneficiary is the trustee of their own trust. But what it does is it adds a layer of protection or a layer of separation from community or joint assets that your child and their spouse might have. So if your child gets divorced after receiving their inheritance, if you left it into a, what I call kind of slang term, divorce protection trust for them, it's more likely that they'll be able to keep their inheritance through that divorce process. So there you have it, the 3 options. Make sure you like and subscribe. We'll see you next time.